Good day, everyone. Welcome to the Mom and Pop Quilt Shop. I'm Laura Lynn, and this is Weekend Project. We're going to show you how to use one of your cross-stitch projects and turn it into something useful. I'm going to turn this cute little bear that I did via our Cross Stitch Tuesdays and turn it into a little project bag for one of our nieces, great nieces. So this is how it started off first. It was a gift from Miss Tracy Provis, and thank you so much for that, my dear. This is great and fun to put along. We called her, my niece's name is Claire, so we just put Claire's bear on it, and it was a polar bear. It did say that on the instructions, but it actually doesn't say anywhere on here that it was a polar bear, but it was a cute little polar bear. And I thought it turned out so cute. It was a really nice option to work on a dark canvas. It was perfectly the size that I needed. I actually trimmed it up to turn it into a project. So what you want to do once you finish your project itself, you're done. You got nothing else to do on it. You want to take some medium or lightweight stabilizer. You can feel the little gluey bits there. Place it on the back, and then we're just going to heat and stick it down just to stabilize it, so when we go to work with it, it's not going to all fall apart, right? So, and we do have a few options to finish this off as a little project bag. We could do a little rope top, or we could do a zipper, do Velcro. So I'm just going to heat it, let it adhere to as a one unit, okay? And just kind of slowly scoot the iron down, giving the glue just enough time to heat up and melt. That'll stabilize all those little threads that you spent all those hours tucking in to make something really pretty and unique for a loved one or yourself. I started off cross-stitching like baby announcements and wedding announcements for friends and stuff like that. So I thought it was such a lovely, unique gift, right? I've always been a maker of trying to make somebody a gift, right? Okay, so now that's one unit. Okay, so it's all together. Now we get to decide, what do we want to do with it? Like, do we want to border it out a little bit, a lot of it, what size of zipper you have if you want to. I have this one right here, and to extend it, to make it just a little bit more useful in a project, I'm going to take a little bit of fabric on this side and stitch down. And this is a plastic zipper, so be careful when you are sewing through zippers. Make sure it is like a nice plastic one, that it's not going to bust your needle. I'm not going to hit the part where it connects. In fact, I'll probably chop that off once I get this sealed up over here. So that gives me a spot to be able to fold it down, and then gives me another opportunity to kind of like extend it out a bit. And same with this right here. We'll take that and we'll stitch it there, so that stitches together, and then there, and then we can add it on, right? So I did like this kind of little chunk of fabric that I had here. So I am going to add it to either side of the bear. Okay. So that's if we wanted to do a zipper. Okay. And I do like it that the arches are there. If you want to add like a little tube to be able to put a rope through, okay, like one just like this, okay, there. And what I chose to do is to do it quite a bit longer than what we want to thread it through. So if you want to just have a shorter one or a longer one, depending on what size of project bag you want to go for, okay? So we'll just actually add a fabric here, and then we can add that on top, and then we just end up threading the loop through, and you're just going to go through one side and one on the other for the front and the back, right? So, but let's see how we finish this off, okay? So let's border it out just a smidge, and then we'll add, I think I'm going to do the rope method, just a nice easy tie for her, and then we'll do that. Okay, we'll catch you in just a moment once we finish that out. I added the two sides to the part of the cross stitch. Now I'm just going to add a little border across the top. I'm using a 2.5 inch strip for both the bottom and the top. This is just a light blue to kind of pull some of the colors out from the face of the polar bear. Just using my walking foot, staying 1/4 inch away from the edge. And then I've got some like a jersey kind of fabric for the inside. And what we'll do, we'll just make sure that those two sizes, the front and the back, and then the insides are all the same, right? So, because we're just putting a little drawstring tab at the top. We're having a good day, and thank you for joining me. Okay, and then we're just gonna iron that back and then give it a trim. Okay. First, just gonna give that there, and then fold back. It looks like it's kind of got little snow on it, little dots. So I really like the fabric. It's got a nice light blue to it. Okay. So that's a good little size bag. Okay, we'll clean up the edges here. And then I took a 2-inch strip, folded it in half to give me that channel I'm gonna need to put my little drawstring through, okay? So now we know the size of our front of our bag. We need to make sure that our back, which I thought this fabric right here would look really lovely. And then I've got a little bit of this knit. I thought it was like cotton, but it was like mislabeled on a website. So I bought it when, remember I did those tractors, those cute little tractors, and then the sheeps and stuff like that. It was for that, but it has way too much like knit stretch to it. So I was like, yeah, look at that. I was like, no way, Jose. So I thought, well, it'd be great for the inside of this bag. So why not? Okay, so now we know our size. We will cut what we need. And I'll meet you back here. We have our front, our back, and our lining all cut out and ready to go. And because I'm going to use this as the string method, I want to make sure that there's going to be enough string to go through the loop, like through one loop here of where it's going to go through, and then again on the back, and then double, because we want to be able to be a drawstring sort of little project bag, right? So I want to make sure this is at least 4 times the length of what I'm going to need for across the project. So this is, I think, 12 inches. So we're just going to measure like 1, 2, 3, oops, sorry about that, and then 4, give it a trim. Depending on what sort of string or rope you're using, you may have to defray the edges with a little bit of heat. So just a little lighter or a match, and then make sure you just kind of squish all those little plastic fibers to kind of together so they don't fray out, okay? And you just want to do that for 2 bits, okay? Doing a hand measure is just close enough. I mean, if you want to be so precise. Okay, just a little heat. Squish the edges together, don't burn yourself, safety first. Okay, so those we're gonna need in a few moments once we get pretty much the inside and outside done. So what I wanna do is I wanna take a lining and then my back, and then I've taken the strip of fabric that was the length of my piece here, and then I folded over the edges twice. So one just a little bit, about 1/8 to a quarter, and then the same again, and then that makes that little raw edge disappear, so you don't have to worry about that. So once you have those pinched or pressed, you can place it evenly on your lining, okay, and then add your back or your front, just about, both pieces are going to be the same, okay? And then we just want to pin and then sew across this as like to making it as one seam, okay? So we're just gonna pin right there and make sure we've got it pinched in between. Okay. And our edges are rolled so we don't have a frayed edge. You could always use a pinking shear. This is gonna be like the fun part, working with the jersey part. It just kind of stretched a smidge, so we'll squish it back to fit. I gotta use it. I don't want to not use it. It's been in my collection for like about 6 years and I haven't touched it, so now it's going into this project bag for Claire. And it'd be nice and soft on the inside too. Okay, so there we go. Now we're gonna do that for the front one as well, okay? Enclosing that little piece that we're gonna put the rope through. Okay. So here is our lining. Just put that to the side. Put our little piece here. Again, just folding the edge under, folding and tucking. Folding and tucking. Tucking and folding. In the center, right along the edge, and then we take this one and make sure it's going face down because we want the right sides together, okay? Right sides together, and then we'll pin it. Okay, and then we'll just stitch right across the top, okay? Seal them both in. The rope I'm using is leftover from doing some project, like little bowls, little mug rugs and stuff like that. So you could use probably a little thinner or thicker depending on the size of the bag you're looking for. Okay. See, there it is, just enclosed there. We got no raw edges. Okay, so don't have to worry about that. Let's do it to the other one, the other piece here. And then we just need to sew all the way around. We'll put the right sides together, sew all the way around, leaving a space in the lining part to turn it right side out. And then we just add our string and we're good to go. You can put a little handle on it too if you like. This is probably where you would add it in. It would be just on the side in here, just sticking like a little handle to loop right in here. Take those two pieces right here. Did we get a little fold in there? Oh, we did. Okay, we don't like that. Look what we did. Where's our seam ripper? Seam ripper, seam ripper, you're my best friend. Tiny scissors today are going to be my best friend. Kind of try to get those fabrics to relax just a little bit by adding some heat to them, so hopefully that'll stay flat. Let's work our way back over. Add a little tiny pucker in there, and we didn't want that, so let's try to ease out a bit, a smidgy, just a smidge. That's what happens when you're working with two different fibers, right? Like our knits. We got a knit here that's just super stretchy, but again, want to use it, so. Okay, perfect, fixed it. Okay, now we want to do is put our two right sides together. So we got our linings together and then our front and our back together right here. Now we want to make sure we're pinning at the crucial spots, because then that's just going to look floppy and sloppy and we don't want that. We're just going to pin, line these guys up to. And we're going to leave a gap in the bottom of the lining to turn it right side out. Make sure our corners are lined up. You could box corner this too if you like. I mean, there's many options. Add just like a one handle. Add a little front pocket. Add a little inside pocket. I mean, really. You know what I like to say, the only limitation is your imagination. Okay. And we'll start off where we're going to start the opening. Okay. So down here, and we will do a little back stitch. Take our pin out. Pivot. Actually, let's go. Very wet and a windy day for sure. That's okay. Get out of the way. our pins out and do our reverse. Right. Make sure we're good. We're not going to poke ourselves. Okay. The other end. Just got to slowly feed it. Got some stabilizer on that cross stitch, so it's going to be a little stiffer than the normal fabric, right? So just be gentle and be careful. It'll work its way. Just gotta be just a little patient. I want to tuck these back in because they're just going back into the back, right? And then push the lining inside. Pop our other corners out. If you need to go through the lining hole and use like a tool to be able to poke your little corners out. Okay, so we want to make sure they're pointy, not rounded. Unless you rounded them. I mean, that's all fine. I'm gonna just poke this one out just a smidge. Be gentle as you kind of like roll the fabric towards it. Don't just go like trying to shove the tip right through. Okay? That's not going to help. Alright, once we got those two lined up, he's looking cute. Nice. Oh my gosh, this is adorable. Hope she likes it. Okay. Got our little side parts here. Okay, and then we'll seal up the bottom part for sure. Just want to make sure we're across there. And then what we'll do is we will thread. You can use like a big safety pin. I should be able to fit through there. Or there's some like little elastic threaders. Okay, so just pop it through the safety pin and then go through one side, loop it through, and then come around to the other. And then when you do the other side, you'll start from the other one and come around to and then when you do the pull drawstring, you got one on either side, okay? So let's do that and then we'll catch up. Then try to even up your little ends here. You can tie them in a double knot, a fancy knot, maybe even add a button on or like a little toggle or something like that, whatever works for you. I'm just going to tie them in a knot just like this, trying to get closer to the edge. Give a little tug. Here, there, closer to the edge. Give a little tug. And then we have a cute little drawstring bag made with cross stitch. So it's not just going to hang in a cupboard or tucked in a bag or another project bag finished and never see the light of day once you finished it. So I'm happy to be able to get this done, sorted, and give it to one of our nieces. And hopefully she will love it as much as I had. Oh, had so much love, fun in putting it together for her. So, because it was definitely for her. So, thank you for joining me. Big hugs to you, and we'll see you on the next one. All right? Can't wait to see what you do with your cross stitches.